Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game. It's time to keep you up to speed. All happening at the ongoing 2025 African Cup of Nations. Tension already brewing in Fez. But gentlemen in the studio, Judechi and Wale, I know that it's not an unfamiliar thing. This is like a broken record. But I tell you that it's the Nigerian spirits, as Osimhen has been fighting on the pitch of play. They're also fighting every single one on the team. They're also fighting the Nigerian Football Federation. They don't want Thunder to strike a second time in the same place. So from now on is anger for anger, energy for energy. If you're bringing this, we're giving you that. If you're bringing that, we're giving you this. Whatever, just to make sure that things are fine in the camp. But we did hear that news about the Nigerian Super Eagles, of course, that they were threatening to boycott training and also over unpaid bonuses, hoping that the NFF can clear the bonuses from the group stage up to the round of 16, of which they have been perfectly producing the results. But at this time, even after all the dust that rose yesterday concerning that conversation, the chairman of the Nigerian National Sport Commission, Mallam Shehu Dikko, he's always the savior to come down the tension. He says the financial entitlement of the Super Eagles players and officials ahead of the 2025 AFCON have been fully resolved. That quote you can see on your screen. Dikko confirmed that funding for the tournament was approved by President Bola Tinubu in November 2025, adding that the National Sport Commission, the Nigerian Football Federation, and key members of the Super Eagles are now on the same page. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Nkiruka-Anite, also confirmed the release of match bonuses for the Super Eagles players competing at the AFCON in Morocco, easing concerns over players' welfare. This reaction follow reports from the team's camp in Morocco of a renewed tension over unpaid bonuses and allowances, concerns that have revived memories that happened in November, that incident in Rabat, when the Super Eagles boycotted training just days before a crucial 2026 World Cup playoff against Gabon over the same outstanding payments. This has been a growing concern. Outstanding payments dating back to 2019. Despite these concerns, the Super Eagles trained on Wednesday. This is dousing all the rumors that they boycotted training. They trained on Wednesday evening in Fez, and they are set to travel to Marrakesh. That's if they're not on their way already for the quarterfinal clash against Algeria. Now, as the tournament reaches a decisive stage, attention is now on whether the off-field issues can be fully laid to rest, or what impact they could have on Nigeria's quest for continental glory. We have big questions arising around this conversation. And Mallam Shehu Dikko, that's the chairman of the National Sport Commission, of course, that statement there. Let's see the statement, if I can have that statement on screen. Judechi, I'll have you react to the fact that he has doused the tension, saying that the president approved this on November 14, 2025, the funding and the budget that we need to execute the AFCON. Of course, the president has done his own. And we told the players that the president has paid for the AFCON, and that has been done. That's what he says. He also said that it is now a matter with the CBN. They are working to make sure everything comes on time. At least the boys know that everything is in place. Now, if the boys know that, why is it that the players cannot have a vote of confidence? What is... No, I need to ask that question, because when you give people assurances like this, why is it that our players cannot have a vote of confidence? They cannot believe what these administrators are saying. Because the truth is, if money has been made available since November 14, if it was made available at that time, what is delaying the process for this boycott, this threat we're getting of a boycott for training, and also all the tension rising all the way from Fez, Judechi?
First of all, it starts with the word disgusted. I am disgusted with every front, right? This should not be... We had this in November, come on. We had this in November, and it's just ridiculous. When I saw the news the first time, I was just... I didn't know how I felt about it, because how can it be that barely 2 months after we had this issue that was globalized, the world saw what Nigeria football was all about at the highest scale. And we are repeating the same thing in a tournament where we're having the best run that we've seen of our Super Eagles in a very long time. I don't know how I feel about the Super Eagles players trying to boycott during the tournament.
But they did not boycott.
They did not
boycott. They had a training yesterday.
The reports were that they were going to boycott. And I would choose to believe the reports because I want to imagine if anything was not done, they would have actually gone ahead to boycott. I want to believe that. I'm not saying that would have happened.
There's always a trust issue when it comes to payment of
No, I understand, and that's why I said I'm disgusted, and it's spread across every front. Disgusted with the players to have conceived the idea of trying to boycott.
Disgusted with the players fighting their own rights. We know that at every time they have been shortchanged by these administrators.
Again, I'm going to explain why.
It might have gotten to a level where they've been pushed to the wall. And that's why they're taking this particular way
can we not do it at major moments?
No, that's the way to disgrace them.
Here's the thing.
That's the way to do it.
We had this in November during the World Cup qualifiers. We had this. That was a big statement enough to let the world know that the Nigerian Football Federation and the government behind it are not doing their job. That was big enough.
So why are you
I don't think for every again, I started by saying disgusted on every front.
Okay.
I'm not absorbing anybody of blame. I'm saying this. Yes, at that World Cup players, I did support the movements to do that in that moment. I'm not going to support it.
Why are you not supporting that?
I wouldn't support it for every major moment. Come on, what are we now doing here? Are we saying that we can no longer play?
I like Jidechi's stance.
Are we saying?
Jidechi, let me tell you a story. This story breaks my heart every time I remember it. There was the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games or Olympics, and a Nigerian sprinter, female, 100 meters, refused to come out and to the race because the team members did not get their £100 a day. You know what disgusted everybody the most? The fact that the teammates didn't get their £100 a day, but there was a senior delegation, some head, whether a minister or whatever, who was not in sports, who had no business at the Olympics, actually owed money, hotel expenses for watching porn. He was owing extra money for watching porn, and they were not giving the sprinters. That is how disgusting
Can we confirm all that? I think those are just allegations.
Well, okay, but at least the allegation in the past have proven that, listen, they are giving our money, and these guys don't give us our money. There was a time Mikel Obi refused to enter the bus they provided for them because he knew the bus they provided for them, and he brought one Rickety vehicle for them. And Mikel was like, this is not the bus they arranged for us. And they refused to enter. Him and Agali and somebody else. It's at the boss.
All right, let's look at how the ripple effect.
Changed in the past.
The ripple effect of having to do this in public. We know what happened in November. After that outcry, we saw how they performed against Gabon. Do you think that this can be a little bit of a booster for them heading up to that game against Algeria?
I mean, it should be a booster, but again, I do hope that these things are things that are never brought to the forefront. First of all, it starts from the head, right? We shouldn't be finding ourselves in these kind of situations. I think some days ago we did discuss the bonuses, the goal bonuses, and all of that. And here we have the National Sports Commission chairman talking about how the AFCON bonuses were taken care of, that the conversation now is about the in-tournament bonuses. This is the problem when we do things on emotion, right? You create systems so that people know that in a system-based society, things are waiting for them at certain points. You had already made AFCON bonuses available for these players. How about sticking to it and do a tournament-based bonus? So that when the players...
He did say, if I can't have that quote again, he said the players wanted this amount in dollars, wanted to be paid in dollars, like they wanted cash. I hope I'm getting that right. Yes, want to be paid in cash, I beg your pardon. The only thing that they asked to be paid in cash was the daily allowances, and it has been sorted out and available. So the players wanted cash. So this is where there is contention right now. Maybe the NSC could not, facilitate.
I will take sides with Jidechi there. They cannot insist on cash. Whatever avenue the government pays the players is strictly by their. You can't tell me you want cash from the government now. The government will tell you, give us your account details, we will send it to you. Who pays cash these days? Who carries around cash these days?
So you think the Super Eagles created their own problem? You think they created their own problems?
I mean, this is just messy, and I personally do not like messy, right? I personally do not like messy. I don't know why this was not sorted before. We saw a huge publicity about how the players,
so you think from November 14 down to January 2026, enough time?
Whatever transpired, whether cash, whether the money has not gotten to the players, whether it's been disbursed by the presidency, it's not the basic Nigerians' problem. The basic Nigerians' problem is, I want to watch this team play without drama. We've had drama upon drama in this tournament, and that's why I can't even absolve the players themselves of blame, because we are just coming from the Osimhen Olukman saga, and we are getting it. It makes it. I will not absorb a single person involved. The NFF, the players, the government, everybody is involved. We want a tournament devoid of drama. It's just not too much to ask. Can we go into tournaments where the sports federation and the government involved take care of this issue before, and perhaps give assurances that is enough to satisfy the players' desires? It's just sad. And again, disgusted is the word I can use to best describe how I feel, because I cannot believe that no matter how bad it is, the players cannot wait till after the tournament. When we just had this. Barely 2 months ago. And of course, the federation too. It's just ridiculous. So must it be Nigeria every time?
Okay, let me give you a little bit of solace here and give you something to smile about, if it will make you smile. 7 January 2023, I would say. Do you remember that date? Dide Chiwale, any of you can give me a clue? What happened on that day 17th? With Nigerian football?
The AFCON final.
January 7th?
No. January 7th. 2023? I'm not sure I really remember the dates.
All right, January 7, 2023, the very day the Nigerian Football Federation shocked so many and then made an announcement of Eric Chelle. 2023, I mean 2024. 2024, I meant 2024. So they made that announcement of Eric Chelle as the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. To many Nigerians, Eric Chelle was once little more than a funny meme we saw, and we remember chiefly from that viral image from Mali's dramatic ouster at the 2023, which was played in 2024, African Cup of Nations. Now, during that celebration moment before their journey ended at against eventual champions Cote d'Ivoire at the African Cup of Nations, exactly 1 year ago, News Central Sport Desk examined some public perceptions surrounding the Malian coach, sampling opinions that range from skepticism to cautious optimism over his appointment. Let's listen to the reactions we got from journalists and fans at the appointment of Eric Chelle. And 1 year after, we'll have the guests in the studio evaluate if this man has got our vote of confidence.
His appointment has drawn an avalanche of reactions all over social media.
He really has no coaching accomplishments to speak of besides coaching teams in the French and lower division.
You look at his CV and there's really nothing to hold on to there.
But he's definitely a coach that I'm going to give a chance with the Super Eagles. You have one job though, qualify us for the next FIFA World Cup.
What will Nigeria be like this? When the first lose where? In nothing like Nigeria, that we get mad for the whole world pass. They go cause they go enter the pressure like this.
Young comments on the radio is more. They say no good.
Indigenous coach. They have more experience, not like foreign coach.
White man we have been using for a long. What do they do to Nigeria?
If somebody coach a team and he won a ticket by leading them to the upper side, and you are not depriving him for that, I think to me it's not very fair.
Sure, Iguavon would have been a very good coach for us, but they didn't work with him.
Our own made coaches are not doing well. I just feel like, okay, we need external and out there to, for them to, improve and for them to do well.
The only time we have indigenous coach that the Super Eagles have discipline during only big day time.
That is one of the coach that players fear him. But now, how many coaches in Nigeria can control all those foreign-based players? Because those foreign-based players, they have money.
Today, the big question remains, have those perceptions that we just heard right now changed after 1 year? After 12 months in charge of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Eric Chelle is coming with a redefined CV after guiding the Super Eagles to the United Cup win, guiding the Super Eagles to wins, back-to-back wins, navigating pressure, expectation, and a demanding football culture. Has Eric Chelle, has he earned the confidence of Nigerian fans and stakeholders? This is what his CV looks like right now after 12 months of guiding the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What do we say to this gentleman? A lot said. His CV doesn't speak it. He doesn't deserve to coach the caliber of team like the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Others say that they would not respect him so long as he is not a white coach from a very prolific country, or maybe he has got the redefined CV. But Eric Chelle, 1 year after, Jidechi, how do you evaluate?
I mean, I'm impressed, I would say. Just like every other Nigerian, we didn't think so much of this when he was appointed. But I think I was sold on his ideology with the Malian national team. I like the idea of an attacking-minded coach, right? We really did struggle. We were in the doldrums of football, we would like to say the trenches of football. When we had the former gaffers, they didn't do bad per se, but we always knew this Super Eagles team was a star-studded team in attack, and it made absolutely no sense why we favored defensive-minded football.
Will you say right now that the Super Eagles rather improved Chelle's CV?
Well,
is it a symbiotic relationship?
Exactly, it's a symbiotic relationship because just like I was saying, prior to Eric Chelle, we didn't really have an attacking and a fluid football when it comes to attack. You can see with this AFCON, we scored how many? 12 goals just before the knockout stage, or with the round of 16, about 12 goals. With the former managers, it was a case of, oh, we got to the AFCON final with a great defense, whereas you are boasting some of the best strikers in the world. And of course, we cannot forget the fact that prior to Eric Chelle, we didn't really have this kind of runs that we have right now. So
he did it with Mali.
Mali. That's
nobody gave Chelle a chance.
Nobody gave him a chance.
Everybody felt the players do not respect him. But he has built a fantastic friendship with them, relationship with them. They have mutual respect for each other. But most importantly, nobody gave Chelle a chance. And I think he has done magnificently well with the Super Eagles. He's been able to transform, like Judechi said, he's making use of the strikers that all the other coaches had. And they weren't using them. Calvin Bassey is fantastic. Ola is a good defender. But you have so many strikers there and you're not using them. And what Chelle has done is that he has transformed that team to an attack-minded side like he did with Mali.
All right, like he did with Mali. Now, he's making the Super Eagles look good. And also the Super Eagles are making him look good. Because sincerely, Mali would be missing their X, as I would say. Mali indeed will be missing their X if they get ousted in the quarterfinal of this competition, because it's looking like the Super Eagles will go all out against Algeria. They do better. I tell you, they do better when there's tension in camp. When there is tension in camp, the Super Eagles always turn up. Talking about Algeria, the next opponent, Algeria are facing a major setback ahead of the AFCON 2025 quarterfinal against Nigeria. They've got key midfielder Ismail Benassa. He's expected to miss the tie through injury. I remember seeing Benassa, having to lie low, having troubles with his ties. The long stretch, they had to play long minutes against DR Congo. At least they've tested what we tested during the playoff. But I think if the Super Eagles get their acts right, they can leverage on that long stretch at which the Algerians suffered during the round of 16, Wale.
I've watched him play. He's one of the biggest exports from North Africa to this Italian Serie A. He plays in AC Milan. He's a fantastic team player. He will be missed, no doubt, because he's like a father. He's like a father on the field of play. But hopefully he returns for the tie. Don't forget they're playing Nigeria. So I might honestly, in my heart, wish it doesn't come. He doesn't make it. Honestly,
I was confused when I heard hopefully he returns.
He's a very good player, and he'll be missed if he doesn't make that match. But on the flip side, he shouldn't play, so we can just have that high.
All right,
and he's in the midfield.
All right, the Confederation of African Football, Jidechi, have appointed a very popular referee, Somali referee Omar Aten, to officiate Saturday's African Cup of Nations. Now, what concerns me here is that this referee was seen at a time, grabbing the neck of a player. And I'm hoping that he will not go so aggressive against
if you see me do anyhow, we'll see anyhow. The man doesn't have time. It's no nonsense.
He's a no-nonsense referee.
And if you... A red card is quick to him.
I remember the referee who officiated the match between Algeria and DR Congo did not show any player a card for the full 90 minutes. That was really impressive. He's a very lenient referee. But as at the extra 30 minutes, that's when the cards started pouring. We saw 4 cards in just 15 minutes. So sometimes I tell myself, why didn't we get this kind of referee in the quarterfinal? But Aten will be the middle. You remember, this is the one we remember him for. This is a particular picture we remember him for. He will be officiating the match. So if Nigeria or Osimhen wants to go all out against his opponent, like Wale said, he's got this referee to contend with Jidechi.
I mean, I do have a contrary opinion to what Wale said about referees, right? I'm one of those few people that believe FIFA did not give referees their yellow cards and red cards to keep in their pockets, right?
Yes. So if Osimhen goes against his teammate, he can get carded, isn't it?
Absolutely. I believe the reason for referees, I mean, if not, we could have had 11 men versus 11 men on the pitch to do what they want. But the reason for referees, the reason they are arbitrary figures in football is for them to ensure that every football player, irrespective of how big of a name you are, irrespective of how much emotions you might have in you, every football player needs to maintain decorum on the pitch of play and do what we are there to do, which is just play football, right? So I believe a referee that has this type of viral picture that shows him being stern is good enough for players to get into a mental state before the match that they know they are going into the game with a no-nonsense individual. And it's very important for the football game to have discipline, no matter how you want to look at it. I mean, let me deviate a little bit. You have the Premier League club Chelsea who go in it every game getting red cards. When you know you're going into a game with a referee that the slightest thing you do, you'll get red carded for it. There's every chance that you'll behave yourself. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea having such a referee that has this trending picture right now and this kind of reputation being the one in charge, especially with the Nigerian team, the drama that we had the last time. So, yeah, very necessary. I think it's a bit
on the flip side, North African countries want to win at all costs. The tendency that Algeria will get more cards than us is always there.
I think everybody wants to win. Everybody
will get a fair share.
Everybody wants to win at all costs.
Everyone will get a fair share in that encounter, but we cannot wait to see how it unfolds. All right, we've wrapped up updates from the African Cup of Nations. That doesn't mean that our updates ends with this conversation. We would have our correspondent join us. He's en route to the airport to welcome the Super Eagles to Marrakesh as they will preparing to leave their base in Fez down to Marrakesh. Once he gets to that venue, we would power up and then have that conversation with him.